how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What's Poppin' Podcast. It's been a while.
Just a bit.
Yeah, episode number 24, if we're correct. If hopefully we're right.
That's our best guess. It's been a bit, so give us a break.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, guys. First and foremost, I guess we'd like to apologize in terms of like the hiatus that we've, have taken. But I think I can't just say for myself, but I think, for the world in general, 2020 was kind of one of those years where a lot just went on for people. It was just a roller coaster, absolute roller coaster.
It was like a biblical year of just cataclysms for everyone.
Yes,
like everything that could go wrong pretty much went wrong. It was a rough one for sure. At least the whole, I would say, the whole world. It's not shy to say that pretty much everyone in the world was affected by that year. Yeah,
definitely. And it sucked because we were actually just talking about it before we recorded here. That the year that we decided to want to start the podcast was like possibly like a podcast about movies and TV shows in pop culture. And it was the worst time. Just because of like, we couldn't go to the movies, and the movies we were excited to review or talk about in general were getting canceled or postponed.
Yep.
So we were kind of just left, like wondering what the fuck's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, because we literally were like, okay, we're gonna be going and we're gonna be like taking this canoe up this river. We're gonna work hard at it, and all of a sudden we get out there and they're like, "Hi, you don't get to have paddles anymore." And now it's a flooded creek into a river, and good luck. And it's like, well,
and on top of that, like a lot of people don't know this, and I know this is a totally different topic, but like 2020 was a year where everybody in general started working from home or working on projects that pretty much what we're doing. Right. Everyone started a podcast. Everyone started live streaming.
Right.
And it was just a plethora of different creators just, branching out, do their thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I guess alongside with us trying to do that, family stuff, happens and, things get in the way, unfortunately. But very grateful that I dodged a bullet, my family as well. None of us got sick during 2020. I mean, we got like a little small cold, but that was it. Nothing serious.
That's good.
Yeah, but I know you went through your own struggles, right?
Yeah, we a couple things happened. If you notice, I'm in a bit of a different physical space because
it's looking nice, man.
Thank you very much. We started out, like halfway through the year. My back, just to recap, I had a herniated disc. That put me on like bed rest for like a month, and it was really tough to do the podcast. So I think we missed that time too. I got back. We're like, okay, we're going to do the podcast again. And then some news hit my family. My dear grandmother passed away. And that was really, really hard on the family. And so we had to go up there to try and be at the funeral, of course, with, the state of the world. That left it to be kind of an awkward time, trying to wear masks and social distance, which kind of made the whole funeral experience also not the best. Get back from that to find out that my wife was pregnant, which was a thrill and excitement. And then that was short-lived. The excitement to turn to worry, because shortly after that we had to rush to the ER because she was in a lot of pain. And a lot of different scares we didn't know. We were trying to keep it a secret from people and family and all this other stuff, only for it to finally turn around and be stable and good news. And so I ended the year strong with the news that I'm going to be a dad, which is crazy.
Congratulations again, brother.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to be a father, dude, because I think it's definitely something like, dude, I hate to sound like a dad, but it's the truth. Like it's something that's going to change your life forever, and you're going to view life in a different perspective, man.
Oh yeah.
It has for me, like 100%, like for the better, for the better. Definitely, like has definitely like showed me like just, whoa, there's more to life.
Oh yeah.
So super excited for you. I'm very sorry to hear about your grandmother. I lost an uncle last year too. Not to COVID. Just something else, complications, and it sucks because only his immediate family could be at the actual funeral.
Oh,
Because of
yeah.
2020, rules over here in California,
Right.
where they're only allowing, I think, like 5 people at like the actual burial,
Right.
and the viewing. So it sucked, man.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you know what? We're still here.
Yep. And it's
We're
strong.
recording an
strong.
episode.
We're here.
Yes, we're starting the year strong. Back
Yes.
at it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to every single one of you that's been coming to my live streams, and still asking when is the next episode. And I feel so bad because I just can't tell you guys because I honestly just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like put more pressure on him. I know that he had a lot going on in his life, and I had a few things going on in my life, personal stuff, but like I knew, like with him, I didn't want to be more of a bother to the point where it's just like, dude, like I can't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just gave him his space, and then once we both felt like, all right, hey, we can do this.
Yep.
So today's the day. Like we
Back
feel
on
good
it.
now.
Back on that horse.
Back on it. Yeah. So I guess we should get into it, man.
Okay.
So huge
Yeah.
shout out to everybody that actually still listens to the previous podcast episodes. And if this is the first time you actually tuning in, welcome. I'm Jimmy, and that is my friend Tim.
What's up?
Please, by all means, subscribe to the YouTube channel and also follow us on the Spotify if you haven't done so yet. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into it, man.
Alrighty.
And let's talk about what have we been watching, dude.
Yeah, media, entertainment, streaming specifically helped me through a lot of that, and so I've watched a lot of stuff. A lot of it I can't remember, but recently I do remember some things. I say we get the for me the not so appealing one out of the way first, if you're all right with that.
Okay, yes, all right.
Which I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
Wonder Woman 84.
84, man.
Released, and it went to theaters and I think same day for like a month available on HBO Max.
HBO Max, yes.
Which, because my local theater, God bless them, they've been trying to stay open this entire time and sanitizing, social distancing all the way through it, showing old movies,
and that's like that's a totally different topic. On top of that, like the theaters right now over here in California are like, dude, they're struggling, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure like the last time I read news about like AMC theaters over here, they are like, I want to say $1 million, maybe $1 billion in debt by now.
Yeah, I think it's
just because they just can't pay their fucking rent, dude.
Yeah.
It's terrible, man, and it's scary to think about because if this goes on for like another year, hopefully it doesn't. I'm crossing my fingers and I'm keeping hope.
Yeah.
Then movie theaters can be eventually become obsolete, man, and it's gonna go straight to VOD. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I really don't, because it's gonna feel a lot like how when you go to like Blockbuster back in the day, and you would go and pick out a movie that's completely like obsolete.
Yes.
I'm sure generations who never grew
They
up
don't
with that
remember
think
that
about
experience,
it as like
man.
such a weird thing. I hope that
Right.
that's not the case with like movie theaters and stuff. So because of my fear of that's why I was like, I could watch it at home through HBO Max. I went out to my theater who was showing it. And,
Oh, okay. So you had that premium experience then.
yeah, try my best to like just splurge on that and try and really support them. And that's about the only positive thing I could say about the experience is that I supported my local theater. Like I was proud of that, but that's about
Yeah.
I
hear you. I hear you on that. I watched it as soon as it released on Christmas Day, I believe, right? Yeah, Christmas Day. It was on the 25th. And it released, I believe, around like 12 p.m. noon, maybe a little sooner than that. I think it was 12 p.m. noon on Eastern Standard Time. So it was like 10 for me, I think, or 9 for me. And oh man, I don't know what to say. Like, I didn't have the greatest experience. I tried to like it, and I still couldn't like it.
The biggest thing I've seen is a lot of people are really going defense mode for this movie because of the message it has, and I think that they're missing the point. That message is a fine message, and that's perfectly good to have in a movie. However, in a Wonder Woman comic book action movie, I don't think it was the right combo. I think that
Right.
that was a message for a different movie, and have more of a comic book actiony kind of film for it to be like a blockbuster experience. You know what I mean? It just seemed kind of, I want to say, boring to me. It was just very.
No, it was very boring. 100%. You're not you're not alone there, man.
Yeah.
Like even like I love Pedro Pascal, dude. Like I loved him, but
Yeah.
I didn't like him in this movie.
Yeah. He says
It's
life
just
is good,
because, like his
but it could be
character
better.
just threw me off, man. I couldn't tell like what accent he was trying to go for as well. Like I don't know what his character really was, dude.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like I feel like context that was missing from certain characters.
Pretty much any character. Well, I mean, Wonder Woman didn't really need that much context, but pretty much everything else, it felt very like, oh, they're here now, they're doing this, we don't know why, but
I do want to say there was one particular part of the movie where I thoroughly enjoyed.
Okay.
That I kind of wish it was more of that and less of what we got of 84. And that was kind of the beginning part where we got like young Diana and like the game of like, that was actually pretty entertaining to watch. I thought it was cool. But then once we got into like the 84 era, that's when it got like, and it's weird because you kind of think that the 84 or, being in 1984 again, being transported in that time would be more exciting and stuff like that. But no, it was the opposite.
Well, it's also like they didn't even really do anything with the 80s. It was just like in the 80s.
Yes.
But they took all the wrong things about the 80s and used those. I'm just like,
yeah, not wrong. No, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't want to say too much, but worry about other countries and political stuff rather than, I don't know, dope music and references. That's kind of what makes people want to be in the 80s and not today. But
right. It's the nostalgia, you know what I mean? Just like the music and all that. And I don't know. I really tried to like it, man, just because like the first film, going back to Wonder Woman, the first one, it was good. I thought it was good.
It wasn't perfect.
Obviously, the villain lacked.
Yeah.
That third act was not that great, but majority of the film, I thought it was pretty good. Now with this one, I don't necessarily think that Chris Pine's character, right? I believe that's his name, Chris.
Chris Pine.
I didn't think that he needed to be included in here at all. I don't think that was I felt a little pointless. But I will say that the scenes with him and Diana were actually enjoyable. But I still don't feel like he needed to be in the film.
Yeah, and also like as far as writing goes, this was a really first draft. It felt like a lot of character motivations seemed like just flatlined. The way they used, I forget the actress's name. She played Cheetah, which you see in the trailer. So I hope that's not a spoiler for anyone in case you care about that. But I thought her character was all sorts of weird, and like at the end it just didn't make sense with me with where she had been. It's like, what in the world?
She was just pretty much like, from what I got, she was pretty much just really wanted to be like Diana. She was obsessed with just being confident and just being loved, and she liked the feeling that she got from getting Diana's powers or her whatever. But it's just her motivation towards the end of the film just seemed kind of like weird.
Yeah. I honestly too, I have to say that it was such a bummer for me because I did like that first Wonder Woman a lot, and I Patty Jenkins was a director that I was like, ooh, cool, I like what you're doing. And she's assigned to other projects in the future, which we'll get to, that because of this movie, I'm like, I'm not as excited anymore. Like this really kind of put me on the cautious side of things as far as her work. I don't know how much of the decision making or like pacing or whatever was studio, messing with things.
Like, do you feel like if they had their hands on it too much or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. It felt, felt a little bit wonky, and I don't know if that's just her getting in her own zone with it, or if that was
Yeah.
someone else. So I'll be interested to see
Honestly,
her work going forward. To
so
see.
what do you feel like going forward with the character of Wonder Woman? What do you feel like should be the next step now? Since Patty Jenkins is apparently going to be doing the third one, before she starts to work on Star Wars, Rogue Squadron.
I don't know, man, because
Like, what do you feel like would be the correct way of like maybe going?
that's tough. I don't know, because like that's the thing about Wonder Woman. My knowledge from her almost exclusively comes from the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited run by like Bruce Timm and what's his name? He worked on Batman the animated series with him, and it was that whole crew. They also did that animated series. So that was the Diana Prince, the Wonder Woman that I knew was from that series, and she aligns in some ways with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and in other ways not at all. So I don't really know how to deal with her character because I've only ever seen Wonder Woman in the context of working as a part of the team.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, dude, I hope people don't hate me for this, but I like, I don't know, something about Gal Gadot as an actress. Like, I think she's good when she's in a room with other people. Like, she's a great supporting actress.
Right.
Like, when it's just her alone in certain scenes, it just doesn't seem convincing to me. Like, I don't know what it is. You know, maybe it is the character, maybe it's not her acting. But like, I just enjoyed her whenever she was with Chris Pine or she was with another person in a scene. When it's just her by herself, it just feels very weird, I don't feel as interested.
It also could have to do with at least this movie. A lot of things felt very like just green screen.
But see, I didn't get that feeling with the first Wonder Woman.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe it was just 84 that it just felt like I don't care. Like,
yeah,
this is boring. Like, I felt like fatigued as I was watching it. But kind of go in line with what I asked you, as far as like what direction they should go next. I obviously want them to do a modern version of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And give us a reason why she didn't fly in Batman versus Superman, but she can fly in this one. And also the reason, how did she learn how to do the invincibility trick thing in just 2 seconds? I'm just curious.
Man, okay, so that hey, right there.
My dad did this, and then I'm gonna try it. So this might not work.
Hey, that right there is the stench of a first draft. What you're right on right there, because it's a lot of ideas that then didn't get the polish that they needed to. Where they were like, wait, how does this fit not only as its own, but with the greater expanded everything? Because they got too caught up of like, yo, what if we put in the invisible jet? Yo, like doing all this other stuff. And then what is her name? I'm gonna kill myself. Not really, but I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering her name. She had a cameo, but it was in the credits. The first one.
Oh my god, that was
I can't remember her name. I thought it was so lame.
Yes, I know what you mean. The original Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, it was so lame to put her. If she's gonna have a cameo and you're gonna make it like matter, don't make it just like this one-off scene that was filmed like you didn't even care about her in the final thing. It just felt like it was tacked on to get credit, not necessarily.
Linda Carter. I remember now. Carter. It came to me. Linda Carter. Yeah, her last little. I feel like her cameo should have been in the actual film.
Yeah,
because they brought up about this person's armor, the OG, how she was like a goddess or whatever. Like I thought she would have made a cameo at the end, maybe to save Wonder Woman, like give it a an actual threat that she had to come in and save her. That would have been cool. That last mid-credit scene was just kind of like I get it, it's callback, but it's also weird.
It felt like patronizing. It just felt like
a little bit. Yes, I see why you say that. I would have liked maybe an end credit scene where it's like modern day Diana now, and where she's currently at, and then they can allude to Wonder Woman 3 coming up. Which, back to where I wanted to go here, is my opinion. This is just my opinion. I think that they should do a collaborative movie with Superman.
That'd be cool. Yeah, because he
Have
hasn't.
Superman be in Wonder Woman 3, kind of like what they did with Thor and
Thor
Hulk.
Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. Something very similar to that, and then maybe as an end credit scene, have it to where Superman 2 is gonna come. Where he
good.
goes from there. You know what I mean? Because everybody's asking for a Superman 2. He deserves it, in my personal opinion.
Man
Especially,
of Steel was like the first one in this modern DC extended universe thing, and yeah, I think a lot of people have opinions on it, varying from it was fantastic to absolute crap. I think it was a good time. I thought it was.
I mean, compared
really
to the most recent crap that we've had,
yeah.
it is god tier compared to like Batman, Superman, or if we're talking about like the Suicide Squad,
the
other one,
Justice League too.
Just saying, like that, like looking at Man of Steel, I'm like, whoa, that doesn't look too bad now.
I like your thought about doing like at least a team thing.
Doing a team thing, I think would be super super cool.
I agree. Wonder Woman for me, and again, I have to recognize who I am and where I come from and what I am. I'm a dude who likes comic books, and obviously Batman's my jam. However,
of course,
I did really, really enjoy Wonder Woman and the Justice League show that I grew up with, and I think again the reason I liked her so much is because of how she played off of the other members of the league, even minor members when it was unlimited.
Yeah.
So I agree completely that I think Wonder Woman 3 needs to have more of a than just like a pinky in the pool of the connected universe. Have at least your waist in there, wade into it a little bit, because I think it would help.
Yeah, I think that there should be a collaborative thing there, because, and plus it would make more sense. Well, I don't know if it would make sense, but like more so of like Flash is doing his own thing, right? They're gonna have a Flash movie, and he's supposed to have a collaborative thing with Batman.
Right. What Batman that
with
is?
We'll Michael Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman. So there's gonna be a collaborative film there. It's a Flash movie, but it's a collaborative film.
Right.
So they should definitely do what is Wonder Woman and Superman up to, but have it still be a Wonder Woman, during modern times, and it would I think it'd be interesting if they go that route. I mean, I don't know. Patty Jenkins is gonna do whatever she's gonna want to do, but.
And that will be the test too, because I mean, if this was mostly Patty Jenkins who did Wonder Woman 84, that'll show in Wonder Woman 3.
Yeah,
because I mean, if she's working on it and it was her who made the decisions and all that stuff with this one, that'll show in the next one too. Maybe she can learn by seeing some other people, but also like you're an artist, do what you're gonna do. So we'll see. But yeah, Wonder Woman 84 for me, if we had to go back to our scale, which I can give a reminder too, because it's been a bit.
Please.
We go 1 through 5. So I believe it's burnt, stale, plain, buttered, and golden.
The golden bucket.
Yeah. So
that's
I
a 5-star rating.
Yeah, I would give this a stale leaning toward burned, if not burned for me. But I don't know where you're at.
I would give it a 2.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it was like complete garbage, like it was unwatchable, but it was just very boring. There were some good scenes here and there. I mean, obviously the special effects and like the camera work and some shots like really really nice. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't low budget. You can clearly see it's not low budget. But as a film overall, it was just okay.
Yeah.
I would say that you don't necessarily have to watch it like right away. Watch it when you got some free time.
I would even say I would go as far as to say like if Redbox is still around, you can get it for like $1. Then it's worth it.
There you go. Redbox it. Yeah.
I don't think you should even rent it for like full price or quarter price. So that's just my opinion, but.
Now let's talk about something that we've both seen.
Okay.
That is actually really, really good. Well, I enjoyed it a lot. You might have some opinions on it because I've seen your tweets, sir, about certain episodes of this series. And that is Mandalorian season 2.
Yep.
I kind of want to get our 2 cents out there on this show because we didn't get to do a review of it. this year or last year
Mm-hmm.
technically.
Right.
We did a review of the first season, kind of. I believe we did. Like we
Yeah.
talked. Well, we did like a thorough
Yeah.
talk about it. But for me, I enjoyed the hell out of it, man. There was maybe one episode that I thought was like, it was okay, but everything else I enjoyed.
Yep. That's
Like
good.
like a lot. And now with you on the other end, which I thought was really funny, had some opinions about certain episodes. And then you even had a couple people even attack you on Twitter.
Yeah. I ended up deleting those tweets too, because I was like,
Right,
you know, I don't want to have to keep having random people come.
Yeah, be careful with these Star Wars, you know, the Star Wars fans, man. They'll get you.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing about we could talk about. I'm not going to get into
right.
But yeah, for me, I am trying my best to learn how to be a good writer, and there's a couple things that I've really come across by like listening to different professional writers and stuff like that talk about, and that is you need to have a sense if you're going to present a character in a situation that's supposed to be perilous or give something of a tension for the audience of like, oh no, how are they going to deal with this? You need to establish some sort of credibility to that threat. And time again this season, the thing that kept pulling me out of it, man, and I know it's a trope, and I know a lot of Star Wars people are like, it's fine because it's always been this way, but the stormtroopers, dude, like, they miss everything but whenever they're shooting at the guy who can't get hurt. Like, that was bothering me so much. But at the same time, I completely get why it was good to watch. And when I turned that part of my brain off and just saw it for what it's trying to be, which is a Star Wars show for people who just want to see Star Warsiness, then absolutely it was a great time. And I can absolutely get behind that. But for me, it was just something I kept bringing up and complaining about because I was just
wanted more threat to.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not feeling this enough. And I there's these awesome hero shots throughout the season where there's these moments that happen that you're like, this is awesome. And some of them overlapped with the moments that were like, this isn't intimidating or scary at all. So for me, that was kind of like a, well, shit. It's like having, you know, a cookie that looks like it's chocolate chip and it's delicious, but there's also raisins. And you're kind of bummed out because you bit down and there were a few raisins in there. That's kind of how it was for me. I still absolutely recommend it.
Okay, so like overall, like in your opinion, did you at the end, like going off of everything, even the last episode, overall, like at the end, do you feel like you enjoyed it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there was a load more to love than to be annoyed at, and I didn't hate anything that was in this season.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting to hear those your opinion on certain things that you felt like lacked and didn't disagree with or didn't like, because like for me, like I guess I don't know if it's just nostalgia goggles or just because of all of the bad shit that we've gotten from Star Wars the past couple years.
Oh, if you're comparing to that, then it's a masterpiece.
It was just a masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what it was for me. As you know, like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. You know, so I had my cake and I ate it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, man.
But like now that you point at those certain things, I agree with you. Yes, 100%. That the threat should feel like, you know, or our main character should feel like they're like about to almost die. Add some, you know, like I don't know, man, more tension to it. Like pretty much what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, because there was I can get into
going to these, you know, scenarios where we know that they're gonna be okay in the end. But I want to actually feel maybe sometimes leave us in a cliffhanger. It's like, oh shit, is he really gonna make it? Or like, you know what I mean? Like
or like consistency with what do they call them? It was on his wrist. It's like those little tiny like pinprick rocket things.
Right, the rocket wrist thing that he has.
I don't know if they ever explained it. I may have missed this, but like we were told that they were very rare, and yet every episode he had them, And I was like, where are you getting these things, man? Like, that was one of the things.
Yeah, right.
The amount of times that he was just kind of getting shot everywhere. I did like, there's one episode, I think it's the second to the last, where
I know which one you're talking about.
he doesn't have his armor on, and he
Mhm.
pays for that,
Yeah.
which I loved that piece of writing. He was so dependent on that armor that he went to use it like he did, and that cost him. And I was like,
Yeah, he wasn't used to getting his
Yes.
ass beat because he was so used to having armor on him all the time. So he's like, the plot armor. He didn't
Yep.
have the plot armor this time.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like, hey,
yeah,
you can't
no,
take them hits like you used to. It's like,
Mhm.
shit, my life is definitely in more risk here. And yes, I love that episode, man. The
Yeah.
tension of that episode was just
yeah, Bill
well
Burr
executed.
was phenomenal in that episode.
And so was Richard Breaker, I believe, or Richard Brake, I think his name is. He's the one that played the officer.
with like the southern draw.
Yes. He's known for playing a lot of horror movies.
Really?
Yes, and he also was, I don't know if you know this, but he was also the White Walker, the king, I forget his name,
The
from
Night
Game
King?
of Thrones.
That was the Night King?
Yes, the Night King. There we go.
Wow.
I think he was only the Night King for like the first couple seasons, and then they replaced him for somebody else.
Interesting.
Yes, but he was the Night King.
That's cool.
Yes, he's such a good actor, dude. Like, he played that role there in particular was like, it felt scary and tense because you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he made, yeah, I don't know. I just loved everything about that episode there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of Mandalorian season 2, man. Everything about it. So episode 2 is definitely the one where I was just like, this is filler 100%, and everything else felt fine to me.
Okay.
Episode 2 is the one with the frog
Yeah,
lady
yeah.
episode.
Well,
yeah.
How about this? Can we real quick? I want to kind of go like episode by episode if we can by memory-ish. I don't know how memorized you have of it, but like episode 1 was when we first got back into it. I was all hype about it. He did like a whole Batman thing with the guy, and with like he had him like on a pole, and he's like, I'm not gonna kill you by my hand. And then he like shot out the light. These wolf things came in. I was like, oh shit, that was epic. Then seeing like a different side of Tatooine, I liked. And then because that one was, if I remember right, was directed by Jon Favreau. When they go and find the crate dragon, I think it's what it is. The aspect ratio goes to IMAX.
Which, by the way, is the longest episode of the season.
That first one?
First episode. It's almost an hour long.
I believe it. It was really good. That one, like, was wow. Like, when that went to IMAX, that was such
what's so funny,
good
too?
effect for me. Like, it just made it feel consuming.
I was watching this I watched that episode maybe like 3 times, and I was watching it in the living room. My dad walks in, and he's like, he's never seen a lick of Star Wars. He might have seen maybe just like little snippets or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like old school, like super old school, man. Like, he's old school Mexican, where he just likes the old Western movies and stuff like that. And so even he's sat there, and he was so interested in what was going on. He was asking me questions like, how did they kill it? And I was just like, keep watching.
That's awesome.
He was so interested, man. Like,
that's cool because it has a Western vibe. That episode specifically has a very Western vibe. So
and that's what I love about Mandalorian. And hopefully they keep it up and they keep drawing in this new audience or old audience that is unaware of Star Wars, or just in general. It's like, you don't necessarily need to be the biggest Star Wars fan or nerd or whatever to understand what is going on. Even the kids nowadays, like, Mandalorian has such an influence. It's crazy, dude. Because like all these characters are all like practically new. Yes, they bring in old ones, and if you know what I mean? But that's it. They don't try to make you feel like you're dumb for not knowing these characters at all, which is so good. That's why I love this show so much. And episode 1 was just flawlessly done, in my opinion. So he killed it for sure.
So yeah, like when you were talking about like episode 2, I completely agree with it. Felt very, very filler for me, except when it came to that oh shit moment when the spiders are coming. It felt very much like in Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, and
When
you know what? I was getting like God, that the Thing vibes as
oh
well
yeah,
because it was like in a snow freaking world and
hmm
the spiders and I was like, oh my god, this is actually scary. Like
yeah.
it was super cool. I just wanted it. I think why it felt like just okay to me is because I think I wanted the episode to be longer. Like that was definitely one of the shortest episodes. I think it's only like 26 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty short, especially when you're
Yeah.
going off of the longest one. It felt extra short and
Hmm.
stuff.
It's just like holy hell. Okay.
That spider sequence, though, man, like I'm not an arachnophobe by any means,
Hmm.
but even I was starting to get a little bit like, okay, they're invading my personal space, and when they got in the ship, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh no, they're in the safe place. This is not okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They're just breaking through. So there was some tension there for
yeah,
sure. 100%. And the people that come and save him were the, ones I wasn't expecting.
yeah, the showrunner, Dave
Yep.
Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
And then episode 3 for me was a moment of just euphoria because
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars, Rebels. I always have been, and seeing that helmet was such a delight because I didn't expect it. And then when she took it off, and it's the actual voice actress for the character from Clone Wars and Rebels playing Bo-Katan, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is some good shit. This right
Yeah.
here."
And I think that's probably one of the the episode that I watched the most.
Was that one?
Number 3, yeah. Number 3 was definitely the one where I'm like, yes, dude.
What did you think? What did you think of the Mando being confronted by other really good Mandalorians?
I thought that was it was really cool because and I'm glad that's how they started the whole like oh shit factor.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mando was like, what the hell? Like they took off their helmets and they're Mandalorians. Not only are they Mandalorian, she's Mandalorian like royalty for the
Yep.
like so he was like, wait, what? And he was unaware of the watch and he's just like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, and that's when it starts.
Yep.
Episode 3 is when it starts for him to click with him.
He's like, wait, I'm in a
okay.
cult? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
What?
Like he thought there was only one way, and that was to never take off your helmet. Nobody see your face like that, but like no.
So the phrase should be, "This is a way."
Yeah.
That's what it should be, and that's the takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this has been.
No, but
I'm just kidding.
it was a really good episode. I enjoyed the hell out of it, dude. And I think the actress, I forget her name, the voice actress that plays now the actual character of Bo-Katan, she did a phenomenal job, dude. And she just fit so perfectly in there.
Yeah, she actually really looked the part too, which surprised me. I never realized how much she actually looked.
Yeah,
like the
no,
character.
dude, she's actually really buff too. Like she's been in other films that I've seen her in. Yeah, she's built, dude. Like she's good.
And I know,
and I'm pretty sure she probably did her own stunts and everything too.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought she's from WWE. I think she was like one of the lady wrestlers.
Oh, the other I forget. Oh my god, yes, I know who you're talking about. But she played the other Mando. Yes.
Yeah, people were hyped to see her. I think she was a little underused personally, because she was just kind of like there. But that could also be because she's wearing her helmet when she's kicking ass.
The final episode, no, she definitely used perfectly in my opinion. Yeah.
And I forget. Remind me, episode 4. I forget what that episode was about. Because I know episode 5 is the one. Oh, episode 4, they're back on Tatooine.
Yes.
Right? Yes. No. Yes. Maybe. Don't they go back to Tatooine on episode 4? I cannot remember to save my life. I'll have to look it up.
Hold on. Let me look it up real quick. So episode 4 was the siege where they go back.
Oh yeah, he doesn't go to Tatooine. He goes to that one planet where everything went down in season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and he goes back with the 2 main other characters played by Carl Weathers and
Greef Karga and
yes,
and I'm so bad with names. It's so bad. She's good too.
Yes, and then this is when we get to see the Stormtroopers again.
I thought that episode, there was a lot in there, and it was directed by the actor for Grief Karga, and
Yeah,
he
it was
he did a great job.
yeah,
I
Carl
thought.
Weathers' directorial debut
Yes,
for that, I believe. I think I want to say this is the first thing he's ever directed.
it may be. Yeah.
Um yeah, and I remember they acknowledged in the gallery for season 1 that he was going to give him a chance to direct his own episode on the
Mhm.
next season. And John Favreau was going to give him a chance. And dude, I think he did a fantastic job. And we also got an awesome meme out of it too,
That's true.
which was the guy with the jeans in one of the scenes, which they edited out,
Yeah,
by the way.
they
But the
did.
day that it was released, it was like the coffee cup incident for
And he's
Game of
just kind of sitting
Thrones.
there like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that episode was cool because there was a lot of like surprisingly beautiful CGI.
Mhm.
Like they're at the end when they're being chased by the guys on the speeders as well as the different TIE fighters. Not to mention the whole guys like tripping as like on their speeders, they like tumble down and explode.
Yeah,
Like,
no, the chase sequence there
yeah.
was super fucking cool. I like that. You know, we also got some more information as to what they were doing with you know,
Hmm.
the child's blood.
The child, because we didn't know the name at
Yes.
that point. It was just
At
the
that
child.
point, we didn't know the name. They were
Yeah.
doing something with the child's blood.
Yep.
And
There's tons
I mean,
of
people,
theories about what that is, and
yeah, there's like these things in tubs that look very similar to, you know, Snoke.
there's
But
smoke in there, but
we
there's
don't
also
they don't want to say. They
yeah.
might say later on, you know, we'll just have to just
Yeah,
yeah.
that's anyone's guessing game right now. None of
Yeah,
that's
that
been
is a
confirmed.
guessing game because we have no idea
Mm.
if they're gonna go into, like, you know, the sequel series at all. Like if it even ties in, we don't know
Yeah.
if they're gonna ignore it or if they're even going to try and acknowledge it. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, because
'Cause this is
there's been
early
rumors
on.
going back and forth saying whether or not that stuff's canon anymore, if they're going to treat it more like a one-off, like Legends kind of a story or whatnot. So all that's kind of still up in the air.
Which
but-
I hope they do, but you know,
yeah, well, we'll see.
I'm just happy with what we've got so far. That's it.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm living in the current of Star
Yes.
Wars.
Yes.
And then next episode is the one that I absolutely lost my shit.
Holy dude, they come in swinging, quite literally swinging.
Yep, my girl Ahsoka, man, she
Yes.
kicking ass, and Rosario Dawson, sorry, killed it.
Yeah,
I
no,
loved her.
she did a fantastic job, man. That episode, I watched that one a lot too.
Yeah,
Because I got to see one of my favorite actors, OG actors from the '80s, which is Michael Biehn.
oh yeah, from
He played from Aliens
Yeah.
and Terminator,
Yep.
many other films. But man, it was so cool to see him in Star Wars, dude.
Yeah, he fit perfect. It was perfect
yeah.
fit.
He was pretty cool.
And then
But yeah, we get so much from this episode, like a lot.
yeah,
Quite literally a lot. Like this, I felt almost like a series finale kind of episode
yes,
because it just the name drops,
it did.
like quite literally the name drops are just like,
Wrong.
whoa, okay.
Mhm.
But I will say this, and I've talked to my friends about this.
Yeah.
This episode is basically the setup for Ahsoka's series. And
Oh,
this is
yeah,
way
100%.
before it even got announced. I was saying this. I was like, this episode is just quite literally a setup for her own series, dude.
Yep.
And I wouldn't doubt that we don't get any of Ahsoka from Mando this season at all.
I would
And that's
be
exactly what happened.
shocked if that happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I think Rosario Dawson was fantastic,
Mhm.
and Ahsoka felt really, really good. I know some people were complaining about her like tendrils not being long enough, and I'm like,
It's little things here
maybe
and there.
she's
that
dehydrated.
nitpick.
You don't know. Like it could be
nitpick.
that, so it's fine.
It's an older version of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
You know, this is years later from that
Mm-hmm.
timeline. So
Yep. And then we.
yeah, I thought the episode was great.
I thought the
And then-
actress who I can't remember her name either, but she's the goddaughter of Bruce Lee. Like, she was cool, and she's the
Yeah.
one who had the Beskar spear, and
Right.
she had her 1v1 with Ahsoka. Which also, real quick about that, I really liked how whenever it was her versus Ahsoka, it was very samurai-esque. And then when it
The aesthetic
was
of like the town and
mm-hmm,
everything from that little dude,
that
everything was
spot,
perfect.
and then outside of the gates at the same time, you had Mando versus like the sheriff guy. It was very
Mhm,
Western at the same
mhm,
time. It was very, very
mhm.
cool. I appreciated that a lot.
Yes. And this is the episode where we get the name drops,
Yep.
meaning we finally get to know more about Grogu
Mm-hmm.
and his background a little bit, and also his name, which is Grogu. I literally just swallowed it without
Yep.
saying it.
Did you like the name? Do you like the name
I
Grogu?
actually liked it. Yeah, I didn't mind it at first. Like when I heard it, I'm like,
It felt
okay,
it felt off at first, but the more
yeah,
you say it, the more natural it
yeah,
feels.
yeah. Just now, just his name is Grogu. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. Kind of reminds me of the Gremlins, Mogwai. You know, he's
Yeah, actually,
he's a
perfect. Yeah.
Mogwai. Yeah, it's a yeah, Grogu. We get to hear a little, background.
On what he went
That
through.
he was saved
Mm-hmm.
back when Order 66 was happening. They don't say who he was saved by. We still don't know.
They just say
um,
that after that, his time got dark.
yes, meaning he
It's
just like
ominous.
everything's just super vague for
Mm-hmm.
him. He doesn't remember much. So they're setting things up here
Oh yeah.
for future not for past characters to make a reappearance in this series.
Yeah, and I have to say this too. There's some people who are like, so that's like with the in regards to the finale, they're like, that's no more Grogu. I'm like, they would not just
No.
stop doing that character. Do you know how much of a cash cow, just on
Oh
on
yeah,
a business standpoint, how much of a cash cow that character is? There's no way, like that
dude.
character's coming
Yes,
back.
yes. Um, but yeah. So episode 6, though.
The
Well, before we
tragedy.
move on to episode 6,
Oh,
there was one more name drop,
yep.
which was the ending to that episode where Ahsoka is in a standoff with the samurai lady.
Yes.
And she asks her where her master is, which is, if you like to say it,
Grand Admiral Thrawn. Which
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I was like,
Uh,
dude, yes.
I think everybody wanted to hear that, and once they heard it, they're like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
they gave us what we wanted, and that is hopefully the future next villain for this universe, Star Wars universe, that they're going to set up.
At the
'Cause I
very least,
believe he's
it's
big enough to the point where they can make him a main villain.
yeah. At the very least, it would be Ahsoka and her story because that's kind of where I know that Rebels has been out a while, and I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know if you've seen all of Rebels or not, and I don't want to spoil that
I
for you.
haven't seen all of it, but I know of all the characters that are in there that have yet to appear in either Mandalorian, but more than likely you're going to probably appear in her show.
Right. So without spoiling anything major or saying who or what, Ahsoka's kind of mission there at the end of that is seeking out Thrawn for a very particular reason. And
Yes.
so the fact that
That
name
is-
drop is there, I'm like, oh, so we're gonna get a conclusion to that story.
Mhm.
Awesome! I can't wait forward to that. And absolutely,
Yeah.
he's a big villain. I know that there was the Thrawn like book or books. I can't remember if it's
Yeah,
more
there's
than that.
there's a book, yeah.
Which a lot of people have said who are into the Star Wars books that's a stellar series, which is something I can't wait to see if they adapt that into where the whole Star Wars narrative goes across these
Yeah.
shows. I would love to see that too.
In which, from what I hear, like, which is this probably can go on to another topic later on, but is Grand Admiral Thrawn is supposed to be pretty much like the Star Wars universe's like Thanos, meaning like a lot of these shows that are going to exist within each other,
Right.
which Mando, Ahsoka, the Boba Fett series, Rangers of the New Republic, they're all going to connect with each other, and eventually they're going to come together to fight off Mr. Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That'd be dope. That'd be
So
cool.
I think they're all going to cross over at some point. We're all going to see them all together and fight one evil.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I'd like that a lot.
And let's hope that's where they're going, and eventually we get all the characters we love to see from not only the Clone Wars series but from the movies. And because let's go on to episode number 6, which is called The Tragedy.
Yeah. That was ominous. And I love how that episode started. It's like the cutest shit between Mando and the baby. And then it's like, oh, isn't that so sweet? We're almost our way. It's so cute. And it's like the tragedy. And you're like, oh, shit. Oh, no. I don't want that.
Yeah.
What did you think of that episode?
So that's the episode where you had strong opinions on.
Yes.
I, on the other hand, loved it. I absolutely loved it. And that, let me tell you why. It's because I grew up with like 2 older brothers, and they grew up watching the OG Star Wars, and they're the ones that got me into Star Wars.
Right.
My older brother being in particular, he's the one that got me into it. And he's a huge fan of Boba Fett. Like absolutely huge. And he loved Jango Fett too, and like the prequel series. So seeing him in action again was super fucking cool, dude. And I loved what Robert Rodriguez did. And apparently, from what he was like, now that I know watching the gallery, what he was given was like maybe like a 2-page script of like the introduction to him. So he had to add in a whole bunch of stuff for like fight sequences to have like a sick introduction for Boba Fett.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it, man. And not only that, we got a lot. They continued the story on from the previous episode. It wasn't filler to me. It still felt like they stuck to the mission, which is he went straight to the area that Ahsoka told him to put the child on, and that's what they did. He called out, and he had to just pretty much defend them and fight off all these, just useless clone troopers.
Yeah, the stormtroopers,
they're
man.
They're just, they're bots. They're literally bots. They're just die.
Yeah.
Just make the characters look cool as fuck.
Yeah, that was what I was talking about, like with the character intro of Boba's return. Man, I was so into that. And I was in the midst of all the, like, some of the most dorky stormtrooper stuff. And it's just like, that's what kind of diminished it for me. And I think that's why I was so harsh on it, is because I was like, be better. You can be better. I didn't know that he only had 2 like notes or 2 pages or whatever of like direction. You can absolutely tell when you actually look at the meat and potatoes of that, of Grogu's there, he gets taken. That's pretty much the episode. So I completely understand that he took that and turned it into something that was rather good. But I had just come off the high, because that's the thing about doing this as like a weekly thing.
Right.
I mean,
living up to the Ahsoka thing, to that, like I can see maybe like you not liking it or not just you, but maybe some people not liking it because they're just like, yeah, like you said, like going off of just like hell yeah to like some people maybe like, okay, no, but like me, I was still on that roller coaster, man. I'm like, yes, we're going up.
Don't get me wrong, man. When Boba was on screen kicking ass, I was right there with you. I'm like, yeah, but some of the other stuff where they're just kind of running randomly on rocks and they're just shooting and they're all missing, and then there's a boulder and none of them get out of the way of the boulder. They just kind of stand there like, okay, I'm supposed to take this in the face. I was like, all right, come on, we're being a little I don't know about that. But no, like on several different viewings after that, which is kind of why I went and deleted those tweets. I was a little harsh, specifically with like the dialogue. When I went back onto it, the dialogue wasn't as bad as I said it was, and so I went ahead and deleted those tweets because I was like, that was being too harsh. So ultimately, with that episode, that was my least favorite episode of the series, but I still give that a buttered. I would say it's worth watching. Absolutely.
It's entertaining as hell.
And you need to see it.
Me on the other end, I loved it. It's a golden bucket for me.
Yeah, it's a key piece of the narrative.
I'm a fan, so
yeah.
But that's pretty much it to that episode. The child ends up getting kidnapped by the which we get to see in action for the first time, which is the Dark Troopers, and they look cool as fuck, man. In my opinion.
Yeah.
They
very
just
much Iron Man influence.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, very Iron Man influence for sure. But
then we get into episode number 15, which we talked about quite a bit already, called The Believer.
Yeah.
But which was really cool that I'd like to see was Boba Fett's armor get repainted, get retouched, and then look way better. That episode, I'm like, yes, thank God they didn't give him the shit look to it, because the episode before that, yeah, I would agree. Like his armor didn't look that great, but that's just because it was aged and he
Well,
hasn't seen it
yeah.
or had it on in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing it retouched, I'm like, oof,
He
that's
touched
the
it back
boba.
up. Yep. Gave it
That's
that
my
boba
boy.
polish. For sure.
But yeah, that's the episode we kind of already talked about, which, you know, I thought Richard Breaker did a phenomenal job being like such a good villain in that.
Mm-hmm.
We also get to see the Mandalorian's face, Pedro Pascal, Din Djarin's face for the first time this season.
And it wasn't just in front of an IG unit. This was in front of living beings, and it shows that his character growth is he's willing to say like, okay, maybe the way that I've been taught to follow all my life isn't worth it.
Yeah, and the thing about this episode too, which made me love it so much, was the dialogue conversations between the characters.
Yeah.
It wasn't the action. The action was premium, just as always, but the dialogue between the characters was so like, yes, like it was so like meaningful and also tense, and it's just so cool, dude. We get the conversation with Bill Burr's character talking to Din, and he's telling him that, hey man, like whatever helps you sleep at night, but like you don't need to go, there's not just the one way. Pretty much what they were alluding at from episode 3, where, you know, people are taking off their mask and he's noticing that everyone has their mask off, and it's just like, well, fuck, you know, like maybe this isn't just one way, that, you know, I can still show my love and respect for, you know, Mandalorian culture and stuff, but I don't have to just be so hard-headed about everything. So he ends up taking off his armor and going in on his mission, and it shows that he loves and cares for this child, that he's willing to just go above and beyond and even breaking his code.
Which was very touching. Every time that he's done that in the series where he takes off his helmet, they're always very significant moments because of how rarely he does it.
Yeah.
But that isn't to say that I don't want him to not take it off more often. I actually do want to see more of Pedro's face. Because
no, from here on out, which we'll get into the next episode. We hope that from here on out, like we get to see more of his face, and that's it. Like that's I think that's where they should go. But for this particular episode, like you can even see the awkwardness in his face of when he's talking to people. Like he's just not used to it. Like
brown eyes.
Oh shit, yeah, like they know my face. Like, oh, this is awkward. They can see my eyes. Shit.
Yeah.
It's super. Yeah, it was really good. And then we also get to see the Slave One.
Oh yeah,
fucking tearing up shit.
Dude, the Slave One looked so good, and that was one of those moments from the episode we just talked about with the tragedy. When that Slave One came around the corner there, that was another goosebump moment for me, because I was like, that's a very particular sound. And then this one, man, that like, what is it, like the sonic explosion?
Yes,
had me actually go, woo, like audibly. And it was in the middle of the night. I woke up my wife. I'm sorry, but it was awesome.
So good, yeah. And then we go into the final episode, which is chapter 16, episode 8, The Rescue. In this episode, can I just start off by saying that you know, this is the right way of not throwing in your face that women do fucking dominate. They did it. They executed it so fucking perfect without being like, we don't need men. No, like, dude, they're just as dominant in the series, and the writers just did it perfect, man. Like they don't need to just tell us fuck you guys, like a type of thing. Like they just wrote them in, and they made these ladies look so badass, dude, in this episode.
I think the major thing that really made it for me anyway, not like in your face, like it's just women kicking butt, because a lot of movies just try and do that right out the gate. They spent pretty much the last season and the last one before that establishing that these ladies do kick ass. And when you put all of them together, that's just going to make them kick ass more. Like completely believable, which is how you do.
I love all the women characters in this series. They're so cool. Like they're like, I want action figures of them. That's how cool they are, dude. I loved every minute of it, like seeing them together, and even the sequence which kind of like made me hate Bo-Katan a little bit and her friend, I forget her name, the actress, but the wrestler,
Right.
the other Mando,
Mhm.
when Dan and Boba walk into the saloon, the bar area,
Oh yeah.
and they're just like, Mando asks them for help, and Bo-Katan gives them the answer that pretty much like, well,
You're not
good
gonna
luck with
find him.
that. Pretty
Yeah.
much, you're not gonna get that back. And Boba Fett doesn't say anything disrespectful. He just says, "Let's just go. We don't need them. We'll do our thing." Right?
Mhm.
But they feel the need to disrespect the legend, man,
Well,
which
so
is fucked up. I mean, they were going in on my man for no reason, just
Hey.
because he said they didn't need him.
hey, I'll say this. I think actually in lore, it actually makes a lot of sense because if you haven't seen Clone Wars and you haven't seen
Mhm.
like the finale specifically, go and after this skip this little bit here and then watch also our review of that because I'm going to get into that a little bit here.
Right.
But the siege of Mandalore, which is like the finale of Clone Wars, taking place right at the same time as Episode 3.
Mhm.
The clones really take their first ever steps of like actually invading and inhabiting that planet, her homeworld, only for it to then turn into empirical rule. Like they're occupied there, and that's like the premise for why everything went to shit for her, and she was surrounded by hundreds of people with his voice. So I think she got a little triggered, and I don't honestly blame her for being a salty bitch with that. But at the same time, I 100% agree with you. Don't disrespect Boba like that.
Yeah, they were being very, very disrespectful to him, man. And I'm glad that he was able to, stand his ground like he should. They didn't make Boba seem like a bitch,
Nope.
which I was afraid that they were gonna do. I'm like,
if they
don't
did
make
that, I
him
would
like
have been
a bitch.
upset.
Please tell me that he's gonna say something back to her, and he does. And not only that, he gets into it with the other Boba, and it was enough for them to realize, okay, like, what do you need us for? And that's when they go into the conversation that they are gonna go rescue the child.
Yep.
Which, like, from beginning to end, this episode is just flawless, man. It's just so well executed, dude.
It was really good.
Yeah, I just enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of it was, and again, I guess maybe I hate heroes. I don't know. But it was seeing Mando just getting his ass beat by the Dark Trooper when he first encountered it. I was like,
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually love that sequence there because, like you said, there was actual threat there.
Yeah.
And it also seemed as if he was going up against a fucking Terminator, dude.
Yeah.
Where it showed you that he has no chance here. If he doesn't have a weapon, he's screwed, man. Which his little blasters didn't do nothing, man.
Fire. It was like now I look even scarier. How do you like that?
Yeah. It's like you're shooting a gun at a Terminator, man. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna do anything. And so he got lucky enough that he was able to get his Beskar spear, which he won, or earned, I guess, just to say, and just stick that sucker right through that freaking thing's neck, and break it off, dude. And able to shoot the other Dark
Ones out to
Troopers
space,
into space, which I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that's it, because
I forgot that they could fly. For some reason I was caught up in that moment. I completely forgot that they could fly, and I was like, oh, because I was like, damn it, and I was gonna get ready to kind of not like
right. I felt the same way too. I was like, really, that's it? They're gonna waste it like that? Like, I thought they were gonna go into like a standoff, like fight with them. I'm like, I don't know, but I just waited till the episode was like, technically over, and then we also finally get to see Moff Gideon fight the Mando for the child.
Which that asshole,
we get to see the Darksaber in action, which was so good.
That little turd. I was like, quit playing games. We all know you're not gonna just give up the kid.
I love him so much, man. He's such a great actor.
I know, but I was just like, dude, just fight him. Like
it was so convincing, though. He made it so convincing to the point where, like, all right, cool. Like, he's gonna let him grab the child, I didn't let him be on his way.
Second, but that's just me,
bitch.
though.
Like, he's long.
Because I know him.
And luckily he had his plot armor. Because if he didn't, you would have been done.
No, I knew him because of your recommendation as Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So I knew immediately. I was like, nah, he's bullshitting you, Mando. Don't listen to this. He's a liar. But no, that fight was really satisfying. I was shorter than I would have wanted.
Right, right. I wanted more of it, but it makes sense though. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, in that scenario, I feel like you can even tell that he was like super amateur with like the sword and everything because he was, but like the way he made it seem very
he was a
convincing, he was
madman.
swinging on him, dude.
Yeah.
He,
He was
so,
just straight up like going crazy because I
right.
remember watching that, and if you watch that and you look at his eyes, like he's like the most like crazed face as with
Mhm.
every swing, and I'm like, man, I would be a little, even though I have plot armor on, I'd be a little bit like, yo, I'm scared of this guy. Like he's coming at me like a crazy person.
Yeah, and obviously he ends up getting wrecked by Mando, and
Right.
then we get the big thing, which I've been hearing mixed reviews about. Like people are a little confused about this, which is basically that Mando technically is now the ruler of Mandalore because he beat him in a fight, and
Right.
as he's trying to give the dark saber away to Bo-Katan, she can't accept it, and because she needs to defeat it or win it in battle,
Right.
which a lot of people have been kind of confused about because of
I can
lore
I can
in
clear it
terms
up.
of rebels.
Yeah.
Basically, which you can clear up right now in just a minute. Basically, that Sabine Wren finds the dark saber and then she gives it to Bo-Katan, and then she becomes the ruler of Mandalore again. But which is confusing because how come she can't accept it now?
So here's the way it kind of works.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as I have been able to tell, and I think this is
Mhm.
like widely accepted as to it. Now, if the Disney people come out and say no to this, then obviously that's
They
different.
can change it, right? They can
Right.
change pretty much everything because I'm sure that they're self-aware that the fans are like confused about that too.
Right. So
Mhm.
from what I could gather and what I think a few other people can gather is the circumstances of how the Darksaber was acquired by Sabine are entirely different than how it was acquired by Mando. So essentially, Sabine found it without getting into too much spoilers, not being owned by anyone in particular. Um,
Mhm.
if I really got nitty gritty about it, it technically could have had an owner, but because that owner never claimed the dark saber, technically then I think it goes into a status of unowned.
Mhm.
Sabine finds it, picks it up. She's technically the owner, but it's not won by combat like tradition.
Mhm.
So she can technically pass that on to someone else who then takes it up as like this is now
Technicalities, man.
mine. So then it
Alright.
became Bo's, and at some point
Uh-huh.
I think she had to have lost in combat to Moff Gideon for that to carry
Right.
over to him, and then with Mando took it, and so on and so forth.
Which I
So
hope we get some history behind that in the next season, maybe like a flashback in form of a
yeah,
flashback or something.
right.
Uh,
Because they
Um,
allude to in this season a lot that Mandalore, the actual planet, has been
mhm.
like half blown to hell by the Death Star, which
Yes.
we haven't seen in any Star Wars material. We had never seen that. So
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna get more Mandalore related stuff and Darksaber stuff. See how that's gonna happen
right,
in the next season, hopefully.
possibly.
Now, but the episode isn't over yet
Nope.
because the Dark Troopers re-arrive and they're trying to bust in this holding like little control area that they're at. Just keep punching away, just like that. But lo and behold, man, we get a
Single X-wing shows up.
one X-wing, man, one X-wing, and this is dude. I just want to say when that X-wing shows up, and then they cut into the cameras, and Bo-Katan's asking who it is.
Goosebumps.
The music is so good.
It was really
That
good.
that yeah, the little music, the ominous music. We were just like, what the fuck? Who is it? Is it Bo-Katan? Everyone's freaking out. Like, who is it? Who could it be?
Hmm.
Which I was hoping for sure two people for it to be.
Really?
One, obviously Luke. Two, being Mace Windu. I really wanted
Oh,
Mace Windu.
would have
But
been
I'm
interesting.
okay with them not doing that now. Maybe doing it in a later season. Just because, like, dude, Mace Windu was Yoda's right hand man. Like that was his right hand man. That's if they want to go with the story that Grogu is the child of Yoda, or maybe a sibling of some sort, or something
Right.
of Yoda. Like I would just make. I just think that having him in the show would be kind of cool.
Yep.
you know. And then I like the character. Um,
Who doesn't like
but
Samuel L. Jackson's characters,
yeah,
man?
yeah. But I do like the fact that they brought my boy Luke back,
Yep.
and he goes to town, man. He does. This is premium Luke Skywalker. 5 years after Return of the Jedi, he just got done whooping his daddy's ass, and also, just saying, like he's at its best. He's at his best. Like there's no way. And it makes in terms of story wise, it makes the most sense that it would be him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wasn't sure how they were gonna do it.
Yeah, but that's a bit of also like nitpicky controversy that I'm not a part of. Like I have my criticisms of the series for sure. This one that people are kind of piling on of like, you looked like crap, it took me out. Yeah, it's noticeable CGI, but it's not to the like it's not a sin that they went that route.
No, yeah.
I think
Which, by the way, I think they did a fantastic job of just doing the scene where he was cloaked majority of the scene, and it just wasn't until like the last couple like minutes there where they reveal the face or whatever. I think in terms of what they were going for that scene there, it served its purpose. Now, if it was like, let's just say an entire series, it could be very distracting. 100%. And they should definitely go with Sebastian Stan. I think everybody really just wants that to happen. He just looks just like him, you know. If they are going to do a Luke Skywalker series, which I think a lot of people think that they are,
that'd be cool.
Which I think would be super cool, you know what I mean? But
because I mean, Luke, honestly, if I'm being real, Luke is really the character of Luke has really drawn the short straw as far as Star Wars content visually. Because like he's Luke Skywalker. I mean, he was there since the beginning. Everyone loves that character, and yet we only really had up until this point the original trilogy, books, comics, and a couple video games.
That's it. Yeah, of him actually being like the badass Jedi that he is. We didn't really get any of that in The Last Jedi. We got an old grumpy ass old version of him, and he's just like not even actually there fighting with lightsaber. He's just
hashtag not my Luke, but
but this time they did justice for him.
Yeah, it was awesome
in such a fantastic way, man. And I love the fact that Mark Hamill was actually doing the voice acting for this and everything. He did phenomenal as always. And it was just like that episode made me tear up a little bit, man. I teared up like a little man child from excitement. I just couldn't believe it, dude. I was just like, this is the Star Wars I wanted, man.
It was definitely a major goosebump. I think that was the highlight appearance. I love Ahsoka to death. I love Boba to death. I like Bo-Katan a lot. But Luke showing up, man, for me was like the biggest of the appearances. Easy.
Yeah, and also the Mando letting go of Grogu was the touching one. That was the cherry, man. It was just like fudge, dude. Like Pedro did a fantastic job of like actually showing emotion to like this non-living thing, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But like he did show like enough emotion to like almost like if he was giving away his child, and you know he's on his first day. He's leaving on his first day to kindergarten. You know, it's just like my son. And then we get the little cameo by R2, which I don't think anybody was expecting, but you know that was cool.
Was like R2,
more fan service.
Hey, that's actually fan service that works though, because it makes sense.
Yes, no, very, very true, very true.
But I have to say, like Luke appearing was so monumental. My mom and my mother-in-law, who I can fairly say this, are not major Star Wars fans. They loved Star Wars whenever it was like around, but they don't seek it out or watch it a lot.
Yeah,
both of them like messaged me. Is that how did they do that? What? How is this possible? Like they were like so ecstatic about it being Luke, and I love that. Kind of hits back on your point earlier about how this show does a really good job of touching all the different people, not just the hardcore fans, and making them feel like a part of a moment. And it was so good. So yeah, that episode for me was the golden. That was
no, for sure. That's the best episode of the series, 100%. Like And it's weird because a part of us, I think we all felt like at some point maybe Luke Skywalker could show up since it makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
But we weren't sure if it would happen or not. But they fucking did it, and the way they did it was just phenomenal, dude.
Yep.
It's so good. But overall, the series, like the season, I give it. Come on now, like the Golden Bucket. That's just my review. Like, but I'm biased though. You know what I mean? Like I told you that after getting what we got in terms of Star Wars, like this is just perfect. I know you had some, a couple gripes here and there, so I don't know. Like,
well,
what do you honestly rate it
for the season? For me, I'd be dishonest to give it the golden for me, so I would give it easily buttered, but it's not going to go any lower than that.
Okay, so you would give it a 4
out of that. It gets
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. I respect that.
So
yeah. So yes, if you guys haven't had a chance yet, which if you're still listening, sorry about the spoilers, but the show has been out already for quite a while. But I literally needed to get that out the way because you guys need to understand, man. When I live stream on Twitch, I don't really like talking about movies and TV shows too much because it's still spoiler territory stuff, and also the audience there is usually there to actually play video games or hang out, talk about video games. So this is like my I'm just stepping away from the video game stuff and just talking about my other passion, which is film, TV shows, and all that. So this is cool, to finally be able to I get to let loose and talk about the stuff I want to be nerdy about. So I definitely want to talk about a couple things here before we head off here, guys. And I want to get Tim's opinion on what do you think of the Disney Investor Day? Is there stuff that you're excited from all that got announced, or?
Man, I was not ready for that. That was like getting bombarded. I was like, they announced what, and then it kept coming, and every single time there was another announcement, I was like, man, that was a great finale announcement, and then they kept announcing, and I was like, it's not done. What
do you mean?
It was like 30 things that they announced.
They were going in, man. A lot of crazy stuff got announced. A lot of things that I obviously just wasn't expecting. A lot of stuff that I was expecting but wasn't expecting. One of them that was left out which we can kind of go back to the Mando season 2 thing, which was the Boba Fett series. Did not get announced at the Disney Investor Day.
Yeah, that was
people were
revealed
confused about it. They're like, wait, is that not happening anymore? What's going on? Because this happened before the season finale of Mandalorian. And then now when the season finale happened, we get an end credit scene.
Yes.
And it shows Boba Fett going back to Jabba's palace.
Killing that long tailhead mother effer.
Oh, what's his name again?
I can't remember that. That's not
it's something tuna. Something tuna.
Fortuna. I don't know. That's just
something like that. Yes, but he ends up getting wrecked. He's actually played by the actor that did the prequel series. He played the same character in the prequels.
Really? That's
cool. They brought him back to play him again. And I thought it was perfect. Like, dude, I didn't know that until the gallery happened. They brought that up.
That's cool.
I'm like, oh, that's super cool. nostalgic and bringing him back like that. And that's super fun. And
he looks right at home sitting on that chair.
Oh, no, of course, right? He looked like he put on a couple pounds, but the good life does that.
We all have, man. It's been 2020 quarantine. We all put on some weight.
Right. But Boba goes in there, just takes charge, and now they leave it to where he's now the criminal, well, pretty much the ruler of the underworld, the crime and all that stuff. And they tease that the Book of Boba Fett series is coming next year,
right?
Which I'm excited for, because this is still in the series or the main universe of Mandalorian. So that means that Din Djarin can make an appearance in the show too. But not only that, I hopefully, Tim, because you're a fan of the Clone Wars series, I get to see one of my favorite characters from that series that I didn't know. For all these years that I've never watched the Clone Wars, I didn't know about these characters until last year when I watched it for the first time.
Right.
There was one particular character that I fell absolutely in love with. Do you know who that is?
Ventress.
No.
No?
No.
Who?
Ventress is cool. She's cool too.
I thought I could have swore that's who you would go.
No.
Cad
My
Bane?
favorite one was Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. Yep. He would be dope.
Fucking dude, the Western bounty hunter. cowboy looking alien guy. Oh my god! I just hope we get him in the Boba Fett series. Like,
That'd be sick.
bring him in there as a cameo or as a villain. They can be Boba Fett's villain. Like, it'd be super, super cool, man. I really hope they go that route, especially since, you know, Dave Filoni is going to be one of the directors and Robert Rodriguez as well.
Right. Yeah,
So
because
they're
I
both
don't
gonna
I
be
don't
good.
know how he ends up. It's like the fate of that character. I don't know if they've
Mhm.
ever written that or not. So to me, that seems like a perfect fit. With I thought you were going to say Asajj Ventress, and I was like, I'm going to have to
Uh-huh.
break it to this man that her outcome has already been determined by the comics, so that's
Ye-
not going to happen. But I was like,
Yeah, right. But I mean, they can still bring in Ventress at some point. We don't know that. They can
yeah,
just, you know what I mean? We'll see. But Cad Bane, though.
yeah,
Hopefully. That'll
that'd be
be
cool.
fun. But overall, I'm super, super excited about the Boba Fett series. And we also got the Ahsoka series that got announced, Rangers of the New Republic, and
Mhm.
what are some other stuff here? Oh, the R2 series. I think there's gonna be like an
Yeah,
androids one, which
that
is
one,
a
I don't know about
droid
that.
one. Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of that one. But there was one series in particular that I'm actually kind of interested in, which is the Acolyte. I think it's pronounced that way.
The
Acolyte
acolyte,
series.
the acolyte.
Acolyte, which is basically going to go into like the uh I guess tell the dark side story.
That'd be
Not
cool.
sure if they're gonna go back to like the old Republic days or if they're gonna do present. Like, we don't really know what they're gonna go with that
Right.
series.
I don't.
People
I don't
are
know.
kind of like thinking maybe they can do like a young oh, what you call it, Dark Plagueis, or
That'd be
just like,
sick.
yeah, like
I
they
would
can
love
do
that.
so much with it. But yeah, that one's got me interested. But there's so many things that got announced at this Disney Investor Day, like a new Buzz Lightyear movie, for instance, which is an animated film, not doing like a toy version of him.
Hmm.
It's an anime version of Buzz Lightyear, which is now being replacing Tim Allen
With
for
Chris Evans. Is that
Chris
right?
Evans.
I don't know
Yes,
how I
he's
feel
doing
about
the
that one.
voice.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that one either,
we'll see.
but I'm gonna give him a chance.
Yeah.
And you know, my son's favorite Toy Story character is definitely Buzz Lightyear as well.
Oh,
So yeah, so you know, I'll watch it.
yeah. That's
I'm
a
looking forward to it.
that's a
Yeah.
win for you.
Mhm.
Um,
But is there anything else you were excited for in terms of Investor Day?
well, there was so much like with Marvel. There was a lot
Mhm.
with also
Yeah.
with the Star Wars, the whole like Obi-Wan Kenobi tease, the fact that we're gonna get
Yes.
Hayden Christensen, Anakin
Yes.
Skywalker himself, and they're gonna have a showdown, dude. Ooh, that side of me was excited. But as far as like
Yes.
other stuff with Disney, they're doing like an Alien show set in the universe of Alien and Aliens.
Yes.
That's
Finally,
insane.
dude. I just want them to use their Fox property that they bought, like the characters, the IPs,
Yeah,
and use them, please. Aliens, Predator, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many characters that they can use. So finally, we're gonna get like a series of that.
yeah.
So that'd be
I would
super
love it.
cool.
I would love it if this series took place right after the end of Isolation because of
That'd
that
be interesting.
cliffhanger, and that would make me
Yeah.
so happy as an Alien nerd.
I
But if they
wouldn't
don't
I
do
wouldn't
that,
doubt it, man. They bring back freaking, you know, a bunch of the older characters. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
You never know.
Yeah.
But then also like a lot of that Marvel stuff, just getting kind of like reconfirmations that things were coming out. Because again,
Mhm.
when we were starting this podcast, a lot of that stuff was going to be coming sooner than later. And now because it's a
Right.
pushback, it's a good refresher. And other announcements that went with that. It's just I'm very excited for the amount of content that's going to be coming to Disney Plus for the next few
Yes.
years. And
Yes.
it's from what I can tell, they're not going to go with the Mulan route where it is
Mhm.
extra. This is just content coming to the platform, which I think is
Yes.
the right way to do it because the extra costs,
Absolutely.
I think, turned a lot of people away from wanting to check out Mulan.
Yeah, for sure. And we can kind of dive into, like, you know, this topic here, which would be technically Marvel's MCU's first TV series on Disney Plus, the main one, which is going to be WandaVision, which will be
Coming out.
coming next week.
Yep.
I believe on the 12th, if I'm correct. Yeah, or it's
And these are
probably I think on the 15th, maybe, because that's a Friday.
right. And these are weekly
Usually
episodes, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Are these weekly episodes like Mandalorian
Yeah, I'm
was?
assuming they're going to be
Yeah.
weekly, just like Mandalorian and stuff. So, but it is confirmed to have 9 episodes. The WandaVision. So we'll see how long each episode is. Hopefully, I mean, an hour long would be nice, but
Hmm.
we don't know yet. We don't know what they're gonna do. We don't know how MCU's, you know, Like I just know that they're treating these shows as the same budget as like a movie.
Yeah, and
Because I've heard there's rumors that, you know, on set for like the WandaVision that there was like tension, or they were just kind of like unsure of how this was going to work, and they didn't know until after the first trailer was released, and they got so much positive feedback from it. Then they were like, okay, let's go. Like, let's go to work. Like, they were actually super, super excited about it now.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, you know, because
when you look at
I
it,
think maybe some of the actors or some of the people that were working on these, they were just kind of like, wait, like, how's this supposed to work? Or, you know, maybe they're a little confused there, but like, I'm excited, man. WandaVision. Are you like somewhat excited about it? Or?
Because I've kind of mentioned this before. I have a buddy. I'm not going to say his name. He does lighting for a lot of these different studios, including with Marvel. He worked on a lot of stuff, like the Planet of the Apes trilogy. He worked on Spider-Man: Homecoming. He worked on WandaVision. He's done a lot of work and stuff. And he had mentioned to me a while back, just randomly on Facebook, he's like, "This show is kind of mind-boggling." And I didn't understand what he meant by that. And then when we saw the trailers, I get it. It's a very strange kind of, you don't know really what's going on. And I think it looks really cool. I'm hoping it makes sense. I'm with Kevin Feige being the grand mind behind everything Marvel. I'm sure it will make sense. But I do have to say, for like a casual fan, this could be kind of intimidating to look or walk into just because of how weird it is. But
yeah.
If Marvel has merit, which they should at this point with most people, I think it'll do fine, and I think it'll be good.
No, I think it's gonna do fine. Yeah. Especially because like just basing off of the like trailers and screenshots, like the budget looks like if we're watching a WandaVision movie.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look cheap at all. Like it looks really good, man. And some of the other clips that we got from like trailers from the Investor Day for Loki, and oh man, Loki looks insane, dude.
It did.
That could be like its own topic video, to be honest with you. But like it looks so good, and there's so many like Easter eggs and little callbacks, and just you know, like I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to WandaVision. Hopefully it does well for them, and I think it will.
Yeah, and we'll give our thoughts on it every week going forward.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. One thing that's been going around the news lately, which has been pretty big, is the Spider-Man 3 stuff.
Oh yeah, which I'm not
so
caught
there's
up
been
on a
like
lot of this, so.
Yeah, there's been so much news about it, so many rumors about it, and then people are getting confirmed. Which Hugo and Jamie Foxx is reprising their roles as certain characters.
Hugo played who was it again?
Doc Ock.
Oh yeah, in the same
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi series, and then we got Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro.
Yeah.
And now there's rumors of Andrew Garfield. I believe he already signed on, supposedly. I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I've heard that he's already signed on, and that they're trying to get Tobey Maguire to sign on as well. But they got no confirmation from Tobey just yet. I think that they do have confirmation, but they just don't want to say it.
Yeah.
I think because the leaks have been ruining
the
lot
epicness
of
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my concern. The more I've heard about it, and you haven't even told me everything yet, the more I have heard about Spider-Man 3, it's given me some PTSD about how Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 went down, or Spider-Man 2 from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man went down, where it was good, and then the studio was like, hi, let us cram as much as we can into this movie, and it felt way too crowded. And so I'm hoping that's not the case with this one.
I don't think so. See, I don't feel that way. I feel the opposite of you, just because I know that the MCU, Kevin Feige, and everybody else on that team has got it under control, and they've dealt with multiple characters on screen, and still giving us like a good impact. You know what I mean? Like that was Sony at that time, and I agree with you. They don't have a really good track record, but like now I feel comfortable about it. You know what I mean?
I'll remain hopeful. That's for sure.
There's so many rumors about this movie, man, and it's from the way it sounds, it's gonna be fucking wild if it all comes to fruition with Toby signing on, and there's rumors of even William Dafoe coming back as the Green Goblin. It's just like, what is going on?
See, I've also like I didn't know if this was true or not. Maybe you can tell me if you've heard anything about this. It was on TikTok. What's her name? Emma Stone coming back as like Gwen Stacy.
Yes, they're even gonna bring in the love interest.
And I'm like, is this real?
Not just Gwen Stacy, but the other what is it? Mary Jane.
Mary Jane from like Sam Raimi.
Kristen Dunst, I believe is her name was Kristen Dunst, right?
From her. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Even she's supposed to come back.
Well, we got Jonah Jameson.
So rumors revolving like the Spider-Man stuff. It's crazy, but I hope it all comes true, man.
This movie's gonna be insanity if that's the case.
Because from what I've heard and what I've read, keep in mind, take this with a grain of salt because none of this might even come true.
Right.
We might end up getting a different Spider-Man 3 movie than what we're talking about. But there's rumors of that. They want Tobey Maguire not just to come back for Spider-Man 3, but for multiple films.
Ooh,
and that he's supposed to take a giant role in Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, the Multiverse of
Madness. Multiverse of Madness, and it would just make so much sense because Sam Raimi's directing that.
Yeah,
film.
Man.
So it's like, what? Like, dude, can you imagine if that Spider-Man has to team up with Doctor Strange to try to like get everything lined up to go back to their own universe, and they can pull in different characters from other universes? It is just like,
dude, that would
MCU is like, dude, I'm excited.
Well, for me, honestly, and I'll say this as like the biggest DC guy of loving DC, but I think that move. And with all that we've had with the MCU so far and doing that now, I don't think DC will catch back up for a long time. I don't think they will.
DC's doing. I think they're doing okay. Like they're going in the right route. It's just that they're going at a slow pace at the moment compared to what like Marvel's doing right now. They're going at a very slow pace because they're trying to recover from a lot of shit. But I think their biggest next movies DC's gonna do is obviously Flash, because that's when we get Michael Keaton back as Batman, and then hopefully they go into like Batman Beyond stuff with him, and so on and so forth. And then we also had the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson.
Yep.
And there's a few other DC movies that I know they're in the works, Shazam and also Black Adam. So they're definitely they're doing their own thing, but they're going at their own pace now, which is good. So stop thinking about what MCU's doing because they're killing it, but don't think about what they're doing. Just do your own thing, and that's why we've loved DC in the past. Is that they've always done their own thing. They were just so concerned about them trying to keep up. No, it's not about keeping up. It's about you doing your own thing you being unique at it.
I get that, but it's like seeing a kid you love just trying their heart out to pedal a tricycle, and you see the other kid just going, and you're like, "Come on, man!"
Yeah,
they're doing great. You, so it's sad, but at the same time, I'm loving what the MCU is doing. You just gotta
appreciate for what you're getting from that end, and hopefully they end up killing it and they just keep going off. But honestly, the Spider-Man stuff has got me so fucking excited, dude.
Yeah,
and I hope all of it comes true. Because I want to, and especially the theaters come back, and I want to be able to be in theaters and screaming my head off because I remember watching all the original Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire. I remember watching Spider-Man 2. I walked to the movie theater by myself when I was a kid. I think it was like 13 years old when I went to go watch that alone. I had the time of my life, dude. So seeing him as Spider-Man again would be so perfect, dude. But all three of them, and also like I would love for Andrew Garfield to get another
shot.
Like another shot. He deserves it, dude, because he seems like such a humble guy, man. He just ended up getting screwed over because of
that was an unfortunate studio thing there, but.
I definitely want to talk about one more thing here before we end it here, which is Cobra Kai season 3.
Okay.
That just recently came out, and I binge watched the shit out of it. I did not expect to, man. I'm thinking, okay, look, it went live at midnight, and I'm over here thinking that I'm gonna watch like 2-3 episodes and go to bed, right? Each episode roughly being around 35 minutes long or so.
Right.
And And next thing you know, I'm like, wait, I'm already halfway done with the series. I'm like 6 episodes in. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did the time go? And then I'm thinking, well, I might as well just finish it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the entire series. I binge watched it. I ended it like I started at 12 and I ended watching it at 5:30 a.m.
Wow.
And I went to bed very, very happy, dude. I know I think you said that you've never watched it. I don't know if you showed any interest in the
No.
Karate Kid series, right?
I loved the original Karate Kid, and I also
Uh-huh.
loved the pseudo reboot. It was a reboot with like Will
Uh-huh.
Smith's son and Jackie Chan. Loved those as well.
Okay.
But I've never watched Cobra Kai. I didn't watch the sequels to the original Karate Kid. I
Mhm.
enjoy those movies, but I've never been like a major fan of them.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I would 100% recommend that you watch it. Um, Keep in mind,
Hmm.
it's very cheesy, super cheese.
Well, I mean, if it's
But
about
but a movie about a kid, knowing karate.
yeah,
That's if you enjoyed the first movie,
yeah,
you 100% will enjoy the
Cobra Kai.
rest, like
Yeah.
everything that has to offer. But I would 100% recommend watching the original movies, 1 through 3.
Really, all three of them.
Yes,
Okay.
just because there's so much nostalgia that is brought back
Oh,
from all the movies
in Cobra
into the
Kai.
series, dude.
Okay.
Which a lot of people were not expecting. And I don't think a lot of the actors that were brought back into the series were expecting how successful the show was going to be.
That's cool.
Which, by the way, first 2 seasons did phenomenal on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where I originally heard about it. It was a
Yes,
YouTube.
and a lot of people were unaware of the show that it even existed, man. But I watched them on YouTube Red when they got released, and I loved it, man. I ate it up. But you can clearly tell that there was a budget for the show,
Okay.
when it was on YouTube, and now it got canceled on YouTube Red. But Netflix said, "Hey, come to us. We'll cut you a check." And let's bump the production up just a little bit more,
Yeah.
And they did that. They did that. And I feel like the next season is gonna have even more of a budget.
Good.
And it's just gonna keep going, dude, because
YouTube-
it is doing such a phenomenal job,
that was
dude. In
such a
terms of
dumb
storytelling.
move. That was such a dumb move from YouTube to get rid of that, to not budget
Yeah,
that.
they should have. I mean, who knows? Maybe they sold it for a pretty penny, dude.
Maybe. All I know is that was like one of the only shows YouTube had produced that I heard was actually good. Was that
Yes.
show? So the fact that they were like, I'm like,
Yeah,
Get outta here.
and so this is the thing. I loved every season so far, like 1 through 3. But this third season, I fell in love with it, man. They hit all the right spots in terms of like the series goes. And you can just tell how much fun the actors are having playing these roles again, like some of the OG actors.
yep.
And like you can it just feels so good, man. So I'm super happy that it's getting the success that it is, and hopefully, whenever you got some time, I don't want to put pressure on you, but definitely it's worth the watch.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
They have all the originals on there as well. And the episodes are not too long. Like I said, it's not overwhelming. You can watch an episode 30 minutes, you
Yeah.
chill. You know what I mean? So I 100% recommend it, guys. I give season 3, in my opinion, a 5 out of 5, dude.
Wow. Okay.
Coming from a true fan, because I've watched everything that's related to Karate Kid, dude. Everything, even the shitty well, I want to say it was shitty, but it was like there was a spinoff at one point where they had a female lead instead of the original, which was Ralph Macchio's character.
Right.
Yeah, but even that movie wasn't that bad. Like I thought that was pretty good because they had, Mr. Miyagi still be in the film. So I check it out 100%. I loved it. I mean, there's probably like little nitpicks here and there. I kind of wish that certain characters had different outcomes at times, and also I feel like they could have written just a tiny bit better in terms of like executing. Let's just say, for instance, like a certain character you love would turn bad or turn good, right?
Right.
Like give them the reason. Why would they do that? What made them
Don't make it so drastic.
Yeah. They, instead of them doing it like just sudden, because there's a couple times where that happens in the season where a character was bad for an entire like season, and then on this season all of a sudden he wants to go good. and I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? But why though? Why is he turning good? Give us more of like a thing, you know? Like he just got done betraying someone and now he's good. Like,
Right.
why?
Yeah.
Like it still worked out in the end, but I kind of wish that they gave us more context. Why? Like what made him? What was the final straw that made him want to go that route? Just little nitpicks here and there, but overall, fantastic series. 100% recommend it. Give it a watch, guys,
Okay.
if you haven't already yet. And especially, like I said, watch the original movies first. And if the movies don't do it for you, you're not a fan, then don't bother with the series. But if you do like it, then you are gonna love the show.
Okay. Yeah, I remember really liking the OG Karate Kid
Mhm.
when I would watch that and stuff. And it's been so long since I checked that out. I'll
Mhm.
absolutely have to check that out again.
Yeah, and same thing with you though. I actually like the Will Smith version
Yeah,
of
it was cool.
with Willow Smith and Jackie Chan. I thought it was cool. It was very entertaining. Now I think Will Smith is actually like an executive producer or something along the lines in the Cobra Kai series. I don't think a
Oh,
lot of people know that,
that's kind of
but yeah,
cool.
he is involved somehow in this one too. But it is very premium.
That's very good.
But other than that, I think that's pretty much it, man.
Well, I actually
Did you
could
want to?
real quick drop one
Mhm.
more thing if I can
Yeah,
to recommend
yeah.
a few things that I saw. Um, the movie Chef is a movie that I saw on Netflix. It's with John
Mhm.
Favreau.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
I love that
and I
movie,
think
man.
it came out actually around the time of Avengers Age of Ultron, I think. But I had watched that right after watching Wonder Woman 84, and it was
Mhm.
such a great movie to
It's
watch
a
after that.
feel-good movie, dude. It is a
And
feel-good movie.
I loved that movie. So I had never seen it before, so I give that full recommendation. Check it out. Don't look into
Mhm.
anything about it. Be surprised
It's
by
just
who's
really
in it.
cool too is that he even made a show
Yeah.
based off of that movie
We've been
where
binge watching that.
he does cooking of like recipes that he did from the actual movie itself, but he
Yeah.
also
Like guest
he does
stars.
little cook-offs with he gets different stars from different movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super cool, man. You guys should definitely check the show out as well. But the movie, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I love it,
we've
man.
been binge
And the
watching the
soundtrack to
show.
that movie is really good.
Yeah,
Believe it. It is so good. I kid you not. It is ridiculously good.
absolutely.
I know you said that there was one movie that you did watch that I haven't got a chance to watch it. It is a Pixar film. It is called
Yes.
Soul.
Yes. So
What did you think about it overall? Like,
Soul to me is a masterclass of a movie. For me, I think. Well, I'll say this: if a kid is watching it, it may not be that. It's not the masterclass of a movie that they're just like amazed by as a kid because it's
mhm,
dealing with some topics that are a little bit more
on the
mature.
adult side?
Yeah,
Sure, gotcha.
but it is such a beautiful movie, man. I was shell shocked by how much I liked it, and it was like 15, 20 minutes in, and I was already this is a 5 for me. Like, and
Nice, man.
it
I'm
kept
gonna watch it
getting
tonight.
better for me after that, and I
Yeah.
just had a. It was such a great time. It made me feel good in my heart. It made me laugh. It made me tear up quite a bit too.
Wow.
It was a really, really good movie. I would for me, I would put it on the shelf. Not saying it's equal to these or better or worse than. Just it's on the
Mm.
shelf with like
The
for me like
classics.
Finding Nemo, Coco, Inside Out, like that range. Ratatouille
Wow.
because I really love Ratatouille.
Okay, you're throwing them up there.
But
Okay.
I
Yeah.
loved Soul a lot, so I
Yeah.
fully recommend that one too. And that's on Disney Plus right now with no extra charge too.
Yeah. What would you rate it?
5,
Curious.
easy, golden,
Wow.
without
Okay. All right. I'll
hesitation.
watch it tonight. I'll take your recommendation. I'm watching it tonight. Yeah. I haven't actually like I was gonna watch it yesterday, completely forgot about it, and then when we're about to record, you mentioned it again, and I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my god, yes, I gotta watch it now. But yeah, it looks super super interesting, man. And I thought this movie was gonna release in theaters at some point, but
Hmm.
I think they just ended up just putting it up on Disney
Yeah,
Plus, right?
yeah, it's just on Disney Plus as far as I
Yeah,
know.
and hopefully Disney continues to do that. They don't start extra charging people because that Mulan shit was ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
$30 is the what the fuck,
Yep.
man. Which by the way, I did watch that Mulan movie and I thought
Okay.
it was entertaining for what it was.
Yeah.
Because I went into it thinking that it wasn't gonna be exactly what I love from the animated version of the film, and I was just going in whatever they gave me, and it was like a fun kung fu movie. Like I thought it was cool. But that's it. That's all it was. But for $30, I don't know about that. But anyways, guys, I think that's about it, man. Like, dude, it feels good to be back, guys. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this episode, and if you haven't already yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify,
Absolutely.
and hopefully stay tuned for another episode, and we'll keep you guys updated on Twitter. Please follow our Twitter as to when the next episode is going to drop and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm Jimmy,
And I'm Tim.
we'll catch you guys on the next episode of What's Poppin' Podcast. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.